Hey guys, what's up? It's Maddie. Today we are doing a video that I'm really excited about because it's something that I do every year and I've never made a video about it before. So today we're going to be talking about my goals for 2021, and I'm coming to you from my sister's bedroom. I have my journal and I have my chai. So I'm not sure how long this is going to be because I have a lot of goals. Hopefully this can inspire you when you're thinking about your goals for next year, and I'm excited to share with you like what I have planned for next year. And I'm doing this in the hopes that these won't be too affected by COVID, because I'm assuming that the first half of the year and maybe even the whole year is going to be very similar to 2020 in that we can't leave our houses, we can't go anywhere, blah blah blah. So ever since I started writing down my goals, I feel like I've done a better job of actually getting them done. I think that there's some sort of statistic out there that says people who write down their goals are much more likely to accomplish them. So highly recommend writing your goals down. Even if you just have like 2 or 3 that you have in mind for next year, writing them down just like helps them stick in your brain more, and it's a good reminder of like, okay, you can look back to it and be like, okay, these were the things that I set out to do for myself during this year. And while you're here, be sure to comment a goal that you have for 2020. I would like to hear what you guys have in store for yourselves in 2021, and maybe it's not necessarily a goal, but like something that you have planned, something that's going to be happening, something exciting. Be sure to comment below. With that being said, let's get started. I broke my goals down into 6 different areas of life, 6 different categories, let's call them. So I have professional, fitness, hobbies, travel, life, and relationships. So I'm going to go through category by category. If one category doesn't interest you, feel free to skip to the next. I'll have the like timestamps for everything below in the description. So I have 23 goals for 2021 because you know what? If we're not gonna be able to leave our houses, then I might as well try to like make the most of my time and like improve myself, because a lot of these are more like goals for like hobbies and like myself, so they're not very externally focused. And I tried to make it that way because looking at my goals for 2020, it's like actually very laughable, the things that I thought that I would have been able to do last year. Toned it down this year, but I still have 23 goals, so let's get into it. The first one in my professional category is that I want to learn more about graphic design. It's something that I'm very interested in, and I know that I would love it if I would just learn more about it. Like I would love to learn how to use Adobe Illustrator and InDesign and those things. I'm a much more like digitally creative person compared with like physical like creativity, so I just think that I would really enjoy that, and I think it would really help my career too if I knew more about graphic design for my like daytime job and also for YouTube. And the next thing is I want to start offering birth chart readings. So I am very interested in astrology, and I've learned a lot about it over the past few years because I'm just so intrigued by it, and I want to start sharing my knowledge with other people in my life, and not necessarily people in my life, but just anybody. So I'm gonna start offering birth chart readings on my Instagram. The next professional goal is that I want to revamp my blog, and I would like to post at least every other month in 2021. Hopefully I can hold to that because I was pretty good about it in 2019, but in 2020 I was just not very inspired, so I didn't really write a lot on my blog. So next year I would like to use my blog more. I'm paying for it, so I should definitely use it. Okay, next category is fitness. So I have 4 goals here. The first one is to exercise at least 4 times a week, and that can be any different kind of exercise. So it can be going for a walk, it could be yoga, it could be a cardio workout, which is what I usually tend to do. The next goal is to go for at least 1 walk outside every week, and that's a little more difficult in the winter months because it is very cold where I live, but I just get so much out of being outside, and I feel like time spent outside for me is always time very well spent. Like whenever I finish, I'm always like, that is such a good use of my time, and I feel rejuvenated, and it's just nice to be outside in nature. Next goal is to do yoga once per week. I used to go to a yoga class every Monday at 6 p.m. when the world was normal, and I saw my yoga skills increase so much for doing that for like 3 years just by going once a week. And I I feel like I've reverted in my yoga skills because I have barely done any yoga during quarantine. So I would love to do, even if it's just a 20-minute practice, like at least do yoga once a week and like get back in the swing of things. Last fitness goal is to drink at least 60 ounces of water a day. I'm actually really good about drinking water, and I was really good about drinking water when I was sitting at my desk at work. And so I haven't been as good about it since I've been working from home, but I know that I can do this goal. It's very easy for me. I love drinking water. I'm one of those weird people whose like drink of choice is water. So that one will definitely be accomplished next year. The next category is hobbies, and I have a lot of goals for this category because I just feel like I have so many interests and there's so many things that I want to pursue, to the point where it's almost overwhelming that like I could see myself doing literally any hobby and love it. So I have a lot of goals in this category. So the first one is to practice German 3 to 5 times a week. In case you didn't know, conversational in Spanish and French, and I took Latin in high school, and then obviously I speak English. And I also spent 6 months in the Netherlands, so I have a pretty good understanding of Dutch. And German is the next language that I would like to learn because my boyfriend's grandmother was born and raised in Germany, and she doesn't have anyone in the US that she can speak German with. So I want to learn German so that I can speak to her in German. Another hobby goal that I have is to shoot 1 roll of film every month. So I have this amazing film camera that I barely used in 2020. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm still working on the same roll of film that I put in there in like September, and it's now almost January. I just love photography and I want to learn more about film photography. I have a good like basic understanding of how the camera works and the different settings, but I want to get like good at film photography. Next goal is to improve my painting and watercolor skills. I was really into watercolor painting when I was in college because I would take art classes, and that was just like the medium that I was the most drawn to. The only time that I really do watercoloring now is like when I make cards for people, which I love doing, but I want to do more like painting of just like random things, like when I'm feeling inspired to just like paint instead of watching TV. So, or like I could paint while I'm watching TV. So I just want to get those creative juices flowing a little bit more and get back into my watercoloring. Next goal is one that's a little lofty, but I think I can do it, and it is to read 24 books in the year 2021. And that is 2 books a month, which is like pretty doable. So this year was the first year that I ever met my reading goal, and I read 20 books in 2020. And it was almost a stretch because I'm on my 21st book right now, and it's the last week of the year. So I like just barely made it, but it was the first time I ever made it, so good job me. And for Christmas I got so many books, so I don't even need to like take the time to find books because I already have 10 books at least waiting downstairs for me to read. I can do it if I really just make time for it. Like if I read 30 to 40 pages a day in the morning and at night, I really think I can do it. It's all about prioritizing. The next hobby goal that I have is, it's kind of fun, and it is to watch a classic movie every month. So there are a lot of just like film classics that I have never seen. When people hear that I haven't seen them, they're like, excuse me, you haven't seen that? So I need to work on my knowledge about that a little bit more. Like a mix of different times, but like the classics. So I want to watch 1 classic movie per month. I think that's doable. My last hobby goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. And I think I started 2020 with like around 150 subscribers, and now I have 500, which is crazy. So since I did that this year, I think it's reasonable for me to like bump it up just a little bit. Like this year I gained like 300-ish. I think next year I can do 500. What do you guys think? I mean, it's really not up to me, which is why it's hard to like put this as a goal for myself. Dropped my ring. So it's kind of funny to put this as a goal for myself because it's not really in my control. If I'm being consistent and I'm putting out content that I'm proud of, then I can reach 1,000 subscribers next year. The next category is travel, and usually I have like all of these grand plans for the places that I'm going to travel to. Like in 2020, I was supposed to go to Mexico, St. Croix, Alaska, Japan, and Guam. I was supposed to do all of that in 2020. obviously none of that happened. So my goal for 2021 is very realistic, and I think I can do it. It's to go to 5 new places. And that doesn't mean a new country. Obviously that's not gonna happen. It is to just go to 5 new places. So a different town, a different state that I haven't been to, and just like soaking up places that are local that I've never been. That is my one travel goal for next year, and I think I can do it. So the next category is life goals, and these are the things that I couldn't really fit into any other category. So the first goal is to have $20,000 saved in my bank account, and I can definitely do that next year. And also, of that 20,000 saved, have $5,000 invested. Next goal is something that I have been needing to do for a long time, and I'm finally gonna do it next year, and that is to find a therapist that works for me. So I'm really excited about this. I was in therapy when I was in high school, and I did a little bit in college, but I've like totally dropped off the face of the planet with that, and I've always gained a lot from it. It's just like so good to have an unbiased person to talk to about literally anything in your life, and they can help you sort it out. It's actually such a great resource. I'm of the belief that everybody should have a therapist, and I'm really excited about it, if you couldn't tell. Next goal is to get Invisalign. So this is something that I've been wanting to do for years, and I just keep putting it off and putting it off, but like now is the time to do it while we're locked away in our houses and no one can see my like weirdness in my teeth, like the trays or whatever. So it's the perfect time to do it. I've always wanted to do it, so I'm gonna make it happen in 2021. And my last life goal is to stick to my morning routine. And I was so good about this in the beginning of quarantine. I was like on my game, waking up super early. I have kind of fallen off of it. And because it's just a lot to wake up early and read, journal, work out, shower, get ready, all before work at 8 o'clock. So, but I just feel so much better and like ready to tackle the day once I've done my morning routine, and I just benefit so much from it. So I really want to stick to it, at least on weekdays. Weekends I don't have to, but at least on weekdays. And now the final category, which is relationship goals. So my first goal is to support my friends and family, as always. Like, I love all of them so much, and I feel like in the past I've not been responsive or consistent. Like, I am the worst texter in the world, and I just want to do a better job of like keeping in touch with people, being supportive, being there for everybody, and being like a valued relationship that people can have and count on. Next goal is about actually the last 3 goals are about my relationship with myself. So the first one is to practice self-love, which I don't really know how to do, and I don't really know where to start. So that is something that I'm gonna learn more about next year for sure. And that's just like a lifelong journey, I feel like, that you're constantly working on. So I'm gonna start that next year. The next one is to prioritize self-discovery, and this is something that I always like have going on in the back of my head. Like, I'm the kind of person that loves personality tests and things like that, but instead of being told what I'm like, I want to like learn what I'm like. So I want to do a lot of like self-reflection and journaling about like just getting to know myself a little bit more, because you know, now that I'm 25, I should probably know myself. And the last one is about my relationship with myself and other people and the world, and that is to be flexible. This is something that I learned in 2020 is probably one of the most valuable things, is being able to be flexible and not get disappointed when things don't go to plan, because I am a planner, which you can probably tell by all of these goals that I have mapped out, and I just want to be better about being flexible with the little things, with people, and with the big things too. Okay, so those are all of my goals for 2021. As you can tell, it was a lot of goals, but I feel like it's all things that I do naturally. I just want to put a little bit more of like a quantitative spin on things, like actually measure my progress with these things. And in my journal, I've gone very in depth on like how I'm gonna accomplish these goals. So they're not necessarily just like pie in the sky things that I'm like, oh, it would be nice if I meet that. I have actual like plans on how I can meet these goals. And that's really the best way to accomplish your goals, is to, once you come up with them, to come up with a plan of like how you can execute on it. Because if you're just gonna hope that it somehow happens, then it has a less chance of actually happening. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end, you're amazing, because I know this is probably a longer video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you got something out of it, and be sure to comment below one of your goals for 2021. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, subscribe, like the video, comment, do all of those things, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy New Year!